Okay, in this video, let's take a look at Nick Taylor, winner at the WM in Scottsdale. Had a kind of unusual week for him. His iron game was better than average. He tends to not hit as many greens as he did that week, and it's really the stat that jumps off the charts. He's usually a good putter. He's got a great short game. But I'll tell you, when it comes to the iron play, he was spot on. And let's take a look and see what made him get the iron game going so well that week. One thing that really jumped out when you watch the tape and watching live, just how in sync his golf swing was last week. He's got that wide takeaway, the triangle, really working the club back on plane. Not a lot of set or wrist cock in his golf swing, keeps it wide, and not a lot of hinge there. Tends to be the mark more of a great wedge player and a good driver when there's less hinge. But the synchronization of the swing coming down, really on plane, perfect timing, perfect balance. And you could see it all week long. He just had the thing right in the track. But like I said, you can tell really for him that the fact it goes up, there's a pause, it's wide, starts down, it's in sync. And he had the feel of that. This week out in Riviera, only hitting about half the greens. So obviously not as easy to keep it in sync every week when he's out there. One more approach shot here. You can really see for him how calm his feet are through the hitting area. Same great wide takeaway. Triangle really out there in front of him. And as he comes down, staying plastered into the ground with those feet. And there's that on-plane strike. Got the handle working left. And then up and out of it. Like I said, when you have the sync is that good, everything's together that good, your timing is so good, you are going to hit it solid. But like I said, because he's a little more of a stiff-wristed style player, there's just going to be some weeks where maybe the strike isn't quite right with those irons as compared to sweeping a wedge, getting some really good contact with a wedge, or more of a sweeping action with the driver when you have less hinge. But looking at his game from last week, the story is on the greens. He says he worked with a putting coach to help him really get things lined up more squarely, goes through a process to get things lined up, eye line, etc., dialed in. And you can see he's got the claw, which really wouldn't be necessarily the indicator of a great putter, but he's great with it and highly effective. A couple keys jump out. Certainly this setup is great with his eyes right over the line. He's got his eyes lined up perfectly, the forearms lined up with the shaft. All those things are great, but really the steadiness of the head here until the strike. So as that putter goes back, he's dead solid. And as he hits it at contact, I couldn't find any of these putts here from the highlights where his head was trying to move before the strike. And that tends to happen for guys on a bad week. This is super rock solid. At the strike, he's down, then the head's going to rotate after that. But I'm sure being so focused on eye positionings, or position rather, and things like that, it's helped him to keep his head rock solid. And once again, great putter, great short gamer. Lastly, look at his chipping stroke here, much like his full swing, very sort of one lever action as he goes back. Shoulders, arms, taking it back there. Very little wrist cock, super wide right arm. And that allows you to come in lower, more of a sweeping action when you come through. Some players do it this way. Other players just use the wrist and still get the bounce working, but this is more his style. Sweep it off the deck there, use the bounce, and once again, keep that triangle dialed right in all the way through. Nice quiet feet, obviously with the chip shot, but really in sync with all the short game shots. Wedge shots, flop shots, approach shots, dialed in almost every week. It's really getting the statistic of the approach shots with the iron play to match up with the rest of his game.